Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It is Monday morning here on the East Coast. Sun came up about a half hour or so ago. Hanging with JD. Good morning, sir. How are you today? Let me just put the chat up there. Hey, Edward, how you doing? And AZ, how are you? Um, Mike Rennick, good morning. Yes, so it's Monday morning, as you can see, a little bit of sunshine here, which is extremely unusual. Right now, it is cold. It's 24 degrees, but it is sunshine. And the clouds are supposed to fall in pretty here shortly. And that's when we're going to see some cloudy weather. And then we're supposed to be cloudy all week till Thursday. I think Wednesday night or Thursday, we're supposed to get snow flurries Thursday, snow flurries Friday, and cloudy on the weekend. So it's just going to be one of those days, weeks. It seems like eternity, but is what it is. We can't change the weather, although we'd like to. Maybe it's some generation in the future will figure out, there's talk about a time machine, but there's also a way to harness the weather. That is the Mesabi Minor downbound. It's 1,000-footer. Just coming around off of Lake Huron, just coming into the St. Clair River. The it's weather's been a little bit but it is what it is. Would have been a nice morning had it been not so bitterly cold. Although I've flown in this kind of weather, but today was my trash day. I had to get the trash out to the curb and go out and pick up Mia's little love bombs and put it in the trash. And then came in and warmed up a little bit, and here we are. What the heck? Yeah, that would have been a good shot right there, but is what it is. Yes, yes, Ed, it does get depressing. Well, Paul Hodges drives buses, you know, AZ, and he usually gets done about 9 o'clock or so, and then he's got to drive over and visit Tim Hortons and then come home. So usually he gets home around 9:20, another 15 minutes or so. And by the time he fires the computer up and everything, it comes on. You can usually figure about 9:25 or so. Usually, but I haven't heard if he has any other side trips today. So I know that he mentioned that he wanted to go fly his new Autel and try and work on some settings on the Autel. He seems to feel that the on screen, he's got that smart control on screen, that it's a little bit washed out, so it kind of doesn't really project what is going on the SD card. I'm sure he'll sort it out, figure out what the best settings are. So he was gonna work on some settings. Tim Jackson. Yeah, that's a 1,000-footer, the Sabi Miner. It's the Interlake Steamship Company. They have a lot of bigger boats. They've got some smaller ones too, but bigger boats. And the one thing about an Interlake Steamship is, for the most part, they're pretty well taken care of. They're not all like those old beat up ones that we see all the time. Interlake takes care of maintenance on their ships pretty well. And it's called an self unloader because it has a system runs down through the hull, the boom swings out, and they can unload whatever they have on board. All with relative ease of the equipment. I'm thinking, where is it headed? I can tell you where it's headed. It's heading for Toledo. And I think it's heading for Toledo. There's a power plant down there, so I think it's got coal. Hey, Rob, how you doing? Are you there, Rob?
Yeah, I'm here now.
Okay.
Yeah, I've come on with just my
That's
I'm not
okay.
turning my camera on.
We'll take you any way you offer.
Oh, yeah, no, I seen you struggling on your own. I wouldn't
Yeah,
say
it's not a
struggling.
lot of fun to be on by yourself, but
No,
it
I
is
didn't.
what it is. You know, because what happens is I'm not used to monologuing. So some people do it real well. They just can just ramble on. I just am not a monologue.
It's all right, man.
Hey, Phantom.
Hey, Tim, JD, AZ, Paul Hodges, everybody else.
Yep.
Good morning.
Paul must be stopping at Tim Hortons. Anytime he puts Tim Hortons in the byline, and his chat. Yep.
Yeah, I'm struggling a bit today.
Oh, are you? Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
What's the matter? Not feeling well?
No, I think I basically just wore myself out over the weekend.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you were doing a lot of late night live streaming and early morning live streaming.
Yeah, and then yesterday my feet were swelling and everything else. So yeah, I'm just trying to take it a bit easier today. See if I can get them settled down, and then I got a lot of work going on.
Yeah. Well, what I've noticed, Rob, is as I get older, my body tends to mimic the weather. And if it's real cold, I'm creaky, I'm stiff. I'm just and my legs will swell up. And if I get cold, the same thing. But if I get hot, then I get sweaty and
Yeah, it's my own fault. I don't put the leg pads on the bottom of my wheelchair because then it makes it too long, and it's awkward to turn around in my bedroom and to get around the house and things. So all day my feet are just hanging.
What's too bad is somebody hasn't invented for a wheelchair where you just push a button and those things come out from underneath and lift your feet up, and then you push the button and they go back down and retract underneath.
Yeah, when I put the things which your legs or feet go on, it extends my wheelchair by another foot and a half.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they had retractable ones that that would fold up under a wheelchair, they probably sell the hell out of them simply because, it's not only the people that use wheelchairs in their home in their daily life. I mean, think about the hospitals and everything. I always see them. They wheel somebody out to the car. Then the next thing you know, you got the nurse bending over and flipping this up, flipping that up, and locking the wheels and all. You'd think there'd be some kind of an electric device, because you know what was on the news this morning? L'Oreal has now come up with a device for women to put their makeup on. It's all electronic.
Yeah, I should, Laura, put something nearby. I should get some sort of stand or something. It's yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that, I think. Hey, TJ.
TJ, Mr. Giggles.
Yeah, they do, TJ, that stand up and they're, oh my God, 30, 40, 50,000 they are. The Abseida's home as well, Laura. I picked it up this morning. Yeah, I've seen that one, Tim. AZ sent me a thing. I'd actually seen it before. Tracks come out on the bottom, didn't it? And it goes up backwards on tracks. I've been looking at one called I think it's called Not a Wheelchair. It's like a four-wheel electric bike with a seat in the middle and good suspension and things for going off road. Hey, Ken. Ken from Place It Here.
Hey, how you doing?
Wow, that one's puffing out some smoke behind you in it, Paul.
Yes, it is. Interlake Steamship Company about 10 years ago spent, I don't know, millions of dollars to put in scrubbers on all of theirs.
Yeah.
So, and the scrubbers for exhaust to scrub the air before it goes out uses a lot of steam and water.
Okay. I was going to ask, like, why are they so smoky? You
Yeah,
think nowadays, like, they'd be able to, clean smoke it, sort of thing.
yeah. And so what they have invested in is a system called scrubbers, and they put them on most of all of their ships. But the byproduct is you get a lot of
Smoke.
steam and not so much smoke. It's not as
Yeah,
much smoke in
I
there
know,
as
yeah.
it is heat
Yeah.
versus air.
So it looks a lot worse than what it
Yes.
is.
Yes.
Yeah, you at work, Tim? Are you getting ready for work, or?
Oh, he said he just woke up. It's almost 12 a.m. here. 12:30 a.m.
What's today, Monday? No, I think he goes back to work tomorrow. I think he said. Yeah, of course it is. It's yeah, I had to think then. Well, at least it's dry today, and we've managed to do a couple of jobs.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, only photographic jobs, which were on the books. We still got 40, 50 mile an hour winds. So, but we were able to get the Inspires and the matrices up, taking pictures today. So, still, even with the gimbal, still couldn't use no video. Just bouncing around far too much. But I managed to do the photographic work. So that's something, I suppose. Oh, wow, you're up late then, Tim, if you got work this morning.
So it's 12:30 a.m. there. He goes to work probably in about 4 hours, I would imagine.
Well, he normally gets up in about 4 hours, doesn't he? I think he leaves at about 6. He gets up like 4, has his coffee and settles himself and whatnot.
What's up?
Hey, Justin, how you doing?
Hey, Justin,
Good.
you all right, bud?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
How's them shorts doing?
Do I?
How's the shorts?
Oh, dude, they blew up yesterday.
Yeah, what'd you get?
About 6,000 views,
Wow.
and then I got
Wow.
went from 115 to 124 in subscribers from it.
Wow, good for you. Sure, that's a
Here comes Ron.
good morning, Ron.
Hey, Ron, he's in the truck.
In the truck.
Are you on your way for cougar hunting?
I am. I'll be there in 10, 15 minutes. I kind of waited till it got light out. It's not quite light yet. Yeah, the boss switched things up on me. He told me the area I wanted to go to. He said the weather or the snow's too deep. Said you're not going to be able to get in there. So he's sending me over to another area I'm pretty familiar with. It's got a pretty cool canyon, and they like to hang out in canyons or at the top of the canyon. So,
Are they more nocturnal or are they out more during the day?
oh, they're very nocturnal. Yeah.
So what are you
And
trying
I'm
to catch them while they're sleeping?
No. You know, they're awake during the day. They do take naps. They'll jump up in a tree and whatever. But what I'm waiting for too is, which is just kind of be the perfect weather today, is it's going to be up, I think up around 40 today. The sun's going to be out, which means the snow will be kind of soft. And that way there, you'll if you see a print, you'll know, oh, that's a fresh print, you know.
Hmm.
Versus if you had a bunch of fluffy snow, it's kind of hard to tell if the prints are fresh or not.
Sorry, two seconds. Good morning, Bill from Newfound.
Bill from Newfound, hey, how you doing?
And Mr. Hodges, good morning.
Hey guys, what's happening?
Hey, Paul.
Hey, where's my coffee? Oh, it's over there.
Yeah, that sucks, Tim. Tim said he went to sleep at 6 p.m. and just woke up now and can't get back to sleep. Oh, that's going to throw him out all day, that is.
Yes,
Right,
it
Paul.
does.
Paul, you got a few people in now. I'm going to drop out.
Okay, Rob. Hey, thanks for coming in.
You all right? Be good, everybody. Speak to you all
Okay.
later.
Yeah, Rob. Have a good day.
Hey,
Yeah.
Rob. Yeah, Rob popped in just to keep me company.
Yes.
He's not feeling so good. His legs are swelled up and
Yeah.
I don't know how long I'll have you, Paul. Coming up by Devil's Tower now.
Yeah.
Usually the service is pretty good there, but once I start heading back to the ranch that I'm hunting, it gets pretty spotty back there.
okay. Well, just do what you can do, Ron. We appreciate you being here.
I just wanted to come in and visit for a couple minutes. Matter of fact, let me see if I can switch this around. There we go.
Yeah.
You should see a familiar.
That's
Yeah.
Devil's Tower in the distance, right?
It is. Yeah.
Well, one thing's for sure, it's either you've got a few mountains, but there's also a hell of a lot of flat land, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. I mean, Wyoming actually has a lot of prairie land. You get out, like where the big mountains are, it's up in the Northwest, up in the Tetons and, Jackson Hole, Yellowstone. Right here, I know you can't see it, but boy, right over the edge here, there's just a Gigunda canyon right there.
Yeah.
It's all like that real bright red rock, and yeah.
Well, what do they figure? What actually, it's way back in our history, but what is that the tower? What made it go straight up like a plug?
I have heard multiple versions, but I think they said it had something to do with a volcano, or some type of an eruption or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the old Indian tale is, it's got those grooves on it, and they're saying that like a giant bear was on top of the mountain and slid down, and its claws, made all those grooves.
All the
in
marks.
Yeah. Like this is so pretty coming down through here. I wish the sun was out, you'd see it better, but that whole canyon there just has all that red rock, and it's like I said, it's just
Now,
really
in
neat.
this time of year, do you get a lot of tourism or no?
No, it's pretty slow. There's the tower now.
Yeah.
Oops. Anybody in the chat who hasn't seen Devil's Tower before?
Yeah. Ed Hassick wants to know how you're doing, Paul.
Oh, we're
There's my
doing
favorite. There's my favorite restaurant.
Oh, is that where your gal works?
Yeah.
Ah. You haven't reported that you've been over to see her lately.
Well, the restaurant's been closed.
Oh, okay. It closes
Yeah.
for the season, huh?
Right.
There's not a lot of snow there. I expected more.
Yeah. It's been melting slowly.
Oh,
Yeah, we're starting to lose you.
Yeah.
Tim Jackson says it's the stump of a giant tree that the Giants cut down years and years ago.
I still have you, Paul?
Yep.
you're still here. You kind of drifted out for a second.
Yeah. Wyoming traffic jam. Come on, guys, get off the road. Stop, get out of the way. There's turkey all over the road there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There.
I guess better let some dogs in.
Yeah, it's a little chilly out there. So, Ron, how long will you be out hunting?
I got till about, I don't know, 4 o'clock or so,
Okay,
or
so
whenever.
you're going to be out there pretty much the whole day, huh?
Yeah, I just a little R&R day for me.
Now you're towing the 4x4 on the back.
I am. Yeah, that's kind of the reason why I left a little later. So, like I said, these roads can be deceiving, and it's icy, and that's a lot of weight back there, I'm telling. And I just wanted to, but the roads are actually fine. They're actually really good. And it's not much I'm going to see during the day or during the darkness anyhow. So, yeah, I'm just going to walk. And like I said, the big thing is it's cold enough now where if I found a print, I just really couldn't tell if it's fresh or not. But as the sun comes up and that snow starts to get a little wet, a little soft, you find a print that maybe one just walked through, then I'll be able to tell if it's fresh.
Right.
Oh,
Goodness.
Hodges is not there. See, I got my long distance rifle today.
So you don't have night scopes or anything for your guns?
No,
Okay.
we can't. We really can't hunt. It's a half hour before sunrise and a half hour after sunset. And usually the scopes I have bring in enough light where I actually don't need anything like that, especially if I'm hunting legal. There's my turn off.
Well, I just wondered if is like hunting lions, if you have a lion tag, does it have the same hours, the restrictions?
Yeah, any hunting, deer, antelope, whatever, you're allowed a half hour before sunset
Right.
and a half hour after, half hour before sunrise and a half hour after sunset.
Is that because they safety for anybody else in the area that they don't want them to get shot or whatever? Or?
Yeah. So, camo in the back, so I think just sit, in some spots, just watch,
Yeah.
But what's enjoyable to me may not be the others. I can go out and sit in the woods, and I got my camera with me, camera, binoculars, and rifle.
You know, I almost envision
pistol.
at some point in time, come out with some kind of a hunting robot that's gonna have thermal imaging, it's gonna have night scope, it's gonna have everything, and it's gonna have a gun on it, and you have to tell it to go ahead and shoot whatever it's got in the scope, or hey, there he is.
Actually, there he is.
Hey,
Actually, the rifle
hey.
I have, the scope on it, the inside lights up and red, all the reticles and the numbers all in there. So do that light, you can see where your crosshairs are at.
Oh, cool. So Dre, what's going on? Are you getting ready for another day?
Yeah, I just want to pop in real quick after I talked yesterday about that 360 rise.
Yeah,
Something just kept eating at me, and I said I have an old iPhone 6 Plus sitting
Yeah.
around. You know, I think one of my daughters had it a couple of years ago, and something told me try the app on that phone. The app runs smooth as butter on iOS.
it does. Okay.
Yeah. So like I say, I have to retract my opinion on the software and say that, you know, on iOS devices, it runs smooth. It's just with Android. Plus, I have a newer Android phone. My primary phone is a S Note, whatever it is, 22 Ultra, whatever,
Yeah.
which always has issues with older software. Because I said this Rizzy software came out, I think, about 3-4 years ago. So that 6 Plus I have, it runs smooth. It does all the functions it's supposed to. Didn't have no hiccups or anything at all. So I have to.
So you're having fun with the Penguin.
Well, like I said, I at least it's manageable. Like I said, at least I'm able to do all the things it says you can do. And I mean, just using it with that iOS phone, everything came out better. The picture quality was better because I was able to adjust different things in the settings. So yeah, I have to say, yeah, it's a lot more manageable. Now I need to learn how to use it and how to. I learned another thing is that the software that I edit with is not compatible with the files it produces. But the Adobe software, which I haven't had a chance to play with too much, Adobe Premiere, it accepts its files no problem. So that's another issue that you may need to find out if the files it comes in, those MP4 files, does the software you edit with compatible with those files? But there's something in them. There's not just a generic MP4 file.
Well, I'm keeping my finger crossed that my movie maker will be able to use it.
Well, like I said, I might have to try Movie Maker. If Movie Maker can use it, that means I can use it at work for sure. And stuff. I know my, I guess it's the old Sony Vegas, which is now Magic or whatever it is, who bought out Sony Vegas. It doesn't play well with it all. It actually shuts the program down. I try to put that file into a timeline, and it literally just shuts the program down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I brought the Adobe Premiere version I have, and it was right there, but I still have to learn how to edit it a little bit to fit it in somewhere. So that's on me, but at least the software that comes with it does work very well on that older iOS device that I have at home. So that's why I want to come on this morning and let you know that before
Thank you. Yeah.
before you shelf it right away.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
All right.
you know, when I get it, I will play with it a little bit. How much I'm going to use it, Dre? I don't know.
Yeah. And,
You know,
that's
for
my whole thing. You know, that's why I said that, you know, for somebody like me, I may use it once or twice a year at most, unless I really figure out how to manipulate this thing where it's going to, like I say, this weekend taught me that, okay, the software I normally edit with, it doesn't work with. So that's a no-brainer. If it works with Movie Maker, which I have at work, that means I'll bring it into the office and I'll just, you know, use it occasionally on some videos I do
Sure.
for work.
Sure.
So, all right, I'm gonna pop out. I just want to
And
pass
for
that
the,
word
for the
on to
money,
you.
Dre, I think it's, you know, if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
interested in 360,
What gets me, Paul, I saw an older video about 4 years ago. You know what the original price of that thing was? $200 something.
oh, wow.
It was I think $265 was the original price of that device when the
Yeah.
guy was doing a comparison between that and the original X1 or whatever it is. And he was saying that he showed a lot of different, situations side by side. And that 360 was right on par with the X1, the original X1 and stuff. And he said, yeah.
Do you remember, Dre, the Rilo?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dre, do you remember that Rilo? That was the original one I had.
Right.
Matter of fact, that video I showed you guys at Devil's Tower the other day was filmed with that.
Yeah. I remember you saying that and stuff. But I was shocked when the guy said the original price of that Penguin thing was $265. And I think back then the X1 was still around $400 something. And so yeah.
Yeah, I when I just bought it now, it's $49.95.
Yeah, like I say, you can't beat it for the price to play around with it to see how it works out. So yeah, that'd be the next step to see. Now, let me ask you this, Ron. On your Rilo, did you have any issues importing it into regular editing software?
No,
So it could be just the software I'm using or whatever and stuff. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, gentlemen, I got to pop back out.
Okay, Dre. Hey, thanks for popping in and giving me the info.
All right, no problem. Have a good
All right.
day.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Oh, what I missed? I was
Dre said that he used an older iOS cell phone he had to run that 360 Penguin.
Yeah.
And it worked like a charm.
Yeah.
oh wow.
So it must be, the new cameras and the new phones and the new equipment is running, of course, new firmware that isn't all that compatible with the 360.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, Maria. Good morning.
Good morning, Marie.
I can't believe I still have cell service out here, especially video.
It's kind of funny because most Apple requires that these apps stay up to date with their latest software. So that's kind of weird that they even have an application running that you'd have to use on an older.
Well, I remember years and years ago, DJI didn't work all that well with Android. So you had to almost, that's when we started, Paul, using the iPads and stuff, right?
Right. It always works better with Apple.
Yep.
Because it doesn't make any sense why the hell DJI doesn't have their app on the App Store and you have to sideload it. They still have issues with Android sometimes. Like, it's not all the time, but there's still been issues with it over the last couple of years. I mean, that was one of the issues that Rob had with that Air 2S and that Mini 2. The Air 2S was a software issue. When that first came out, they had some software issue with Android. But even what's so funny, right, is Apple does most of their building and they do a lot of business in China, right?
Yeah.
DJI advertises that their stuff works better with Apple. So why do they continue to make products using Android when honestly they should be getting up with iPhone and teaming up with them to use an iOS software to run the applications?
Yeah.
Or to run their smart controllers? I don't know. Maybe Apple just doesn't want to do it. I don't know. I would think it'd be a smart business venture for both of them to team up. And Apple design a special iOS system just for the smart controllers. I don't know.
Tim Jackson's in the chat. Did you know that, Justin?
Oh, no, I was on the phone, so I had to click out. I was on the phone with IT, resetting my password.
Tim had a hard time sleeping. Because he said it's about 12:44 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, lately I've been waking up at like 2 or 3 in the morning every morning for like 30, 40 minutes, and I fall back asleep.
Welcome
wake
to my
up.
world. Except,
I'll wake up for a little
except,
bit. get on
except
the phone
falling
and
back to sleep, there's an interlude there where I gotta go in and relieve my tinkler, you know?
I've just been waking up, sitting there. You know, I'll go outside, have a cigarette, then I'll come back in and be on my phone for about 20 minutes. And I'll fall back asleep. Over the last week, it's been every morning. I've been waking up at like 2 in the morning.
Yeah. Dre just put in the chat, he says, Apple may want too much of a cut.
And that might be the case too. That's what I'm saying. It might be an Apple thing because you know how proprietary they are.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it would be a hell of a venture for both of them. Because I mean, they tout how good their stuff works on Apple. It just makes sense that they would do that. I don't know why they wouldn't. It would be interesting to see a iOS smart controller though.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's not like Apple doesn't do tons of business in China, so it wouldn't be it wouldn't be weird for them to team up with a Chinese company to do something like that.
Well, you would think so, eh? You know, something like that, but.
Right.
Good. So what are you up to today there? You close to home working or what?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for FPU to get back with me so I can get some more paperwork from them.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really have a whole lot on this paperwork I had all last week. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
2 of the days I just kind of killed because, like I said, they don't like me rushing through it. So
Usually the other way around. They want you to rush, try and get things done to give you more shit, but.
well, the thing is we only do 20% of the infrastructure every year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's what they budget for.
Yeah.
But if I really went balls to the wall, I could do all 20% in like 6 or 7 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they have to find shit for me to do, and they don't like doing that.
Yeah.
So they kind of like me to spread it out and kind of thin it out a little bit.
Oh, I got a couple times to do today, but nothing. They're both in town, so won't take long to do them. That's for sure. So. Yeah, back taking the kiddies to school again this morning. I had a pretty good bus load though. I didn't know how many probably come today, right? So.
Yeah, school's back in session. That's for sure. There's buses everywhere down here.
Yeah.
Sucks in the morning and afternoon time trying to get through all these damn school zones.
Oh, yeah. No kidding, right? Well, it's funny because one of my overhead lights, the alternating one, but the amber one, not the red one. But the last stop, it quit working. So, I have to get it repaired. But anyways, I go to my last stop and it starts working again. So then I get back to the yard. I tried it 3 times and it's still working. So called the office. They said, well, they're swamped today down there for repairs. So I said, well, it's working right now. It's hard to fix something that's not broken, right?
Well, and some of the bus routes here have like 2 buses because they'll stop at one stop and half the damn bus will be filled.
Yeah.
They'll pick up like 25, 30 kids at one bus stop.
Oh,
There's
I know.
a lot of buses in the city area.
Oh, yeah. But anyway,
It's jammed up.
but the funny thing is with this bus, when I was over at Batters before I was the first student, that bus there, I had a couple of times that light quit working, but I think it's a ground problem or it's intermittent. Yeah.
Are you driving an older bus, Paul?
No, it's a 2020 bus. It's only 2 years old or coming on 3, I guess. But I've had problems with that light before, right? So
They buy a new handful of buses every year here, but they only give them to drivers. You have to have a perfect attendance the whole previous year and then you get first dibs on the newer buses.
Well, they just bought 42 new buses here back in September, so they've been slowly trickling in because, you know, they didn't get 42 buses all at once. Because they can't keep up to the manufacturing, I guess.
Don't they have like a specific, is there like a specific mileage or amount of years before they trash a bus and they're like, we're done with it, or what?
Well, the thing is, here in Ontario, you can only drive it 10 years, but you can use it for a spare for another year, I think it is, but it can't be full-time run, so.
So there's not like a set mileage, set
No.
year?
No. Well, crap. My run, I only put on, what is it, 30 kilometers a day, which is what, 20 miles, maybe 22 miles a day.
Yeah, so you're probably only putting like, what, 5,000 or 8,000 miles a year on your bus?
Yeah, exactly, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. And most buses and 18-wheelers, any big vehicles like that, are usually designed to go like 500,000 miles.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah, some buses, yeah, they get a lot of miles on.
Especially 18-wheelers. I mean, it's not uncommon over here for an 18-wheeler to have 600-800 million miles on it over its lifetime.
Well, I guess it all depends upon the cost effectiveness of maintaining the bus versus getting a new one.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, and then, you know, whenever you get new models of anything too, that right there is a challenge in itself, because then you'll have all these freaking recalls
Yep.
and problems with the buses that they don't foresee until after they get out in the field and start using them. That's why, you know, I was excited. We were getting new trucks, but at the same time, it's like, it's a brand new model that's never been made before. It's only been out a year and a half. And it's like, you don't know what the long-term problems that these trucks are going to have until they're on the road for 3 or 4 years.
And see, the two of the buses got so many safety features built in that, you know, in the electronics, it's just stupid, you know, like you said, having problems with it or whatever, right? You know.
Well, yeah, and then the safety features are understandable, but at the same time, it creates, you know, it adds a lot more electronics to the bus that have a tendency to fail.
What was it? My bus about 2 months ago, I climbed in, and it wouldn't start. It was in neutral, parking brakes on, everything on. Mechanic come over, he was checking all the safety devices and found out on the outside of the bus, on the folding doors, there's like a handle for the key, to lock the doors. It was locked, you know, like he moved it back and forth, nothing happened, but he put the key in it and turned it a couple of times, and all of a sudden the bus started. Like it was a key that locked that's on the outside of the bus that was screwing the bus up and starting. What, really? Like, I've been driving that bus for a couple, 3 years, whatever. I've never used that fucking key, you know, in the door, you know?
Oh, yeah, before with vehicles back in the day, you know, they would kind of get a set way of they would do things, and it was kind of proven and it would work for years and years. But nowadays, every model that comes out, they're adding these new systems that aren't really tested.
Yeah, yeah.
And you get a lot more problems because of it.
Yeah, especially in the cold life in Canada, you know.
And it's even worse with like regular everyday vehicles that people drive, you know, consumer vehicles, because they're always adding all these updated features and everything else. Every year, a car is completely different than the previous year, and then you get all these problems.
Yeah.
And you got all these damn recalls and everything else.
Well, yeah, for sure. So, you have a bad night there last night, Paul, or what? You look like you're gonna fall asleep there on us.
Oh yeah, I was up and down all night. Well, the thing about it, what because the sun is so low and it's coming at me, maybe if I turn the overheads off.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't do much anything.
Oh, JD said, Murray, don't go towards the light, bud. Nah.
Yeah, it's You know, I finally got sunshine and the sunshine doesn't really agree with,
Yeah.
with my camera. But yes, I am tired. I slept for a couple hours here, then up, then couple more hours, and then up, then couple more hours, and then up, and then by that time it's 6 o'clock, you know?
No, I didn't get out of bed until alarms went off this morning at 6 o'clock. So, what the hell?
Did you hear anything more from your lady friend or?
We text a couple times back and forth, but nothing exciting. So,
Yeah.
when we're getting together again. So,
Oh, Gracie likes to go to the kitchen.
yeah. Oh, there it is down there. No.
Where's Vader?
He must be on the couch.
Oh, okay.
Never mind. I got to call the vet this morning. I got to take him in, get him take a look at why he's scratching so much or what's wrong with the skin. Like, you know, I keep putting moisture on it and it seems not all right, but he keeps, then he starts another spot. And I just don't know what's going on.
If he doesn't have a problem with fleas, you might be getting mange.
Well, I've given baths in that sulfur stuff that handles mange. So, and oh boy, I tell you, that shampoo stinks with sulfur in it. Oh, but it's not mange. I know what, you know, that kind of looks like, but.
I remember my aunt had my dad's dog for a couple of years up in Ventura, California.
Yeah.
She got mange really bad, but when we moved her back down to the desert with us, my dad went and picked her up and brought her back down because of the drier environment and everything. Her mange cleared up within a matter of a couple of months.
Well, but see, another thing I'm kind of interested in, but I've been putting moisture on, but I got a heat register under here, and then there's a bed right beside it. I don't know if he's getting too much heat and drying himself out or what, you know? So, what? You want to go outside? Is that what the problem is? Yep. Come on, let's go then. Come on.
Oh yeah, mange is bad, man. Dogs are stinky when they get that.
She doesn't want to go out. She's just bugging you, Paul. She's saying, it's cold out there.
It's nice here today.
It's 26 degrees here and feels like 18 because of the wind.
It says it's 58 here, but it feels more like 65, 66.
Okay.
Because you can stand outside without a sweater just fine.
How are your pupper dogs doing?
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing fine.
They still
Freaking-
wrestling and having a good time?
Yeah, and then Sarah brought some chocolates home from work the other day and gave them to me. They were sitting on my desk, and freaking Bo got into them and ate them all. And so the girls, he seemed to be fine after he ate them, but the next morning the girls took him outside, and they came in and they said, "Oh my God, Dad!" I said, "What?" They said, "Bo squatted down to take a poop, and it just blasted out." And my youngest daughter said he sharted all over the tree. Like, I guess it like blew out like a freaking air compressor. But he seemed to be okay. He hasn't had any like, I mean, I know chocolate's not good for dogs, but it's not like, you know, people over exaggerate a little bit about it. You know,
Well, I
it's
think
not-
it depends upon what the dog is and how allergic to chocolate they are. Because I do know there's reports of just getting a chocolate bar and they go into a coma.
Well, Bo seemed to be fine, so he ended up eating the damn foil too, but he ended up pooping it out because the girls have been like they paid attention. We've been watching him over the last couple of days, and he pooped all the foil out, so 'cause it was all in his
Good.
soup. But yeah, he got up on my desk and got into him. I didn't think nothing of it. I just set him down. I walked outside for like 5 minutes and come back in, and Sarah's freaking out because she walked in the bedroom and found Bo in there eating them. But like I said, he seemed to be okay so far. So
Oh, good.
I'm hoping he got it all out of his system. Well, I think it was because it was like those little peanut butter cup heart things, and I think
Oh, yeah,
that's what
yeah.
I
Peanut,
think he was. Yeah, I think he was smelling the peanut butter when he
the
got
peanut butter, yep.
And he
Yep,
got all excited.
Dogs just love peanut butter.
I don't know. I'm thinking about making a phone call to a different vet. So, oh, see, I used to go to the Elmer Animal Hospital all the time, right? And Vern was there, and he brought a couple new vets in, and anyways, Amanda's there. She's a nice lady. Don't get me wrong. She's really nice, but she does everything by the book. Well, one of the guys that owns it was Vern. I don't know if he sold it to her or what, but like, they're just prices just unreal. But Vern, he was looking after the Shedden Veterinary Clinic, and they built a brand new one there. So, but Shedden and Elmer same distance apart, right? But
Yeah.
I like Vern a whole lot better. Like he's a nice guy. I really like him. I've known him for years, right? So thinking
Well,
about
maybe what you ought to do, Paul, is call him up and tell him what your dilemma is.
yeah, you just
Because
freaking
he
JD.
probably would take your call and just talk to you for a minute or two,
yeah. Well, I got a phone number here. I'm gonna call him just see if I.
Freaking JD and Tim.
I don't know. Appointments. I just.
Poor Lynn's got to go to therapy today. They'll just beat the shit out of her foot.
Sarah got a break from therapy for a couple weeks because she got her third, was it like a 60-day or something that she completed. So they had her take a break, and then she's going to come back, I guess, for 1 more month or something like that.
I'm gonna make a phone call, guys. I'll be right back.
Okay, all right, Paul.
I mean, that's all they're pushing now is physical therapy and pain management because they don't want to give people pain medications
No,
anymore.
they
So
don't want to give them the pain meds, that's for sure.
yeah, a lot of doctors are just afraid to do that anymore because they get so much scrutiny for it. Which I mean, I don't really blame them because it's like, they haven't really been able to engineer a good pain medication that's not addictive. So the doctor I was going to at the urgent care a couple of years ago, he was prescribing me Tramadol for my back. And then I came back in there one day after like 2 months of him prescribing it to me. I came back in for an appointment, and it turned out they fired the doctor because he was writing everybody freaking pain meds. I didn't know that. And then they were like, like the nurse, she goes, I'm just going to let you know. We were sitting in the room and just by ourselves talking, and I was explaining to her, and she goes, well, we went back over your x-ray. She goes, there was a couple of things that he said you had a problem with that you really didn't. She goes, I shouldn't really tell you this. She goes, but we ended up firing him because he was writing everybody pain medications he wasn't supposed to. I was like, oh shit. And so they ended up taking me off of them. Because I was just complaining of just minor backaches. It wasn't nothing serious. But he had took some x-rays and said that I had something wrong with my back. I don't remember exactly what it was, but and then he started prescribing me Tramadol. And then they ended up taking me off of it.
Yep, that's what usually happens.
Yeah, the line's busy right now.
They try to weed you off.
Well, like here too, the hospitals, like the emergency rooms, they won't write any. The only time, like they'll write narcotics, but it has to be something super serious for
Yeah,
them to write you a week's worth until you get to your doctor. Otherwise, they won't give you anything but like ibuprofen or Advil or pretty much any crap you can buy over the counter is what they'll prescribe to you just in the prescription form. Like when I went for my tooth, they gave me the pain medication there, but once I left, they just gave me a prescription for ibuprofen, I think it was, or something, and antibiotics. But the one good thing around here is the Publix grocery store. If you go in there with an antibiotic prescription and you can't afford it, you just tell them I don't have the money. They'll just give it to you for free. They won't charge you for it. That's one thing that they do for people. They give all the antibiotics out for free if you can't afford to pay for it.
yeah.
It's kind of a cool little program they have. Because, you know, antibiotics are definitely an important thing when you get prescribed because those do a lot of really good things for people as far as infections and stuff. Oh, dude, I had that happen to me, JD, about 4 or 5 months ago. I left for about an hour from the house and I came back and the Bowden tube had popped out and there was freaking filament everywhere. Oh, it made a huge ass mess. I had a big old spider web of filament sitting on my bed. Yeah,
Are
it
you
sucked
still
in the head.
using your printer at all, Justin?
No, I got it put up in the hall closet with everything for it all neatly put up because I just don't have the room for it right now. So I just have it put up neatly up in the
Well,
hall
you
closet.
know, the other thing, it's like anything else. It takes time. You got to have time to spend, you know?
Well, I mean, I could be using it. I just don't have the room for it right now. So, like before, I had I had that closet. I had tons of room in there for all my stuff, but I just don't have any room for it right at the moment. So I took it all, got everything that went with it, the power cord, all the stuff that went with it, and I put it neatly up in the hall closet on its own shelf, away from everything, so nobody messes with it or it gets hit or anything like that. Because I just don't want to set it somewhere up in the house and the cats hit it or the dogs hit it or one of the kids mess with it.
Right.
Because before, like I said, I had my closet. I could close that door off and nobody could get in there, and it kept the animals away from it and everything. But we just don't have
Well,
as much.
how is life going living at your mother-in-law's?
It's all right. I don't really prefer it. It's just opposite of what we were doing before. Because before that, the house we were living in, that was our house. And then her mom moved in with us after, right before her dad passed away, because their landlord got rid of or resold the house they were living in. So they moved in with us. And then just it pretty much went the opposite way. And then 3 years before that, me and Sarah had our own house. We moved her grandmother in with us. And she lived with us the last 2 years before she passed away. Because she wasn't getting enough money to live off of. She was only getting like, I want to say 800 or 900 from Social Security every month.
Oh, wow.
So what she would do is she would just give us like 300 or 400 to help with bills, and then she would, we would use the rest to get her groceries that she wanted. If she wanted something from the store or something, we'd go get it for her. And then we enjoyed when she lived with us. She was a sweet old lady. She was really good with the kids and everything. But yeah, she ended up passing away about 2 years after she moved in with us. That broke Sarah up, man, because they were super close, her and her grandmother.
Yeah, it's a cycle of life thing, You just never know.
Yeah, her grandma actually left me she had this like old school cuckoo clock that worked and everything.
Yeah.
And I always really liked it. I always thought it was really cool. And her grandma, right before she passed away, she said I could have it when when it was her time. And so now I have that. It's packed up in the garage. And then we have an old school, Sarah has a granddaddy clock from a company out of Detroit. I can't remember what the name of the company is, but I've been on their website. I need to get that info to Sean because he was going to help me research it. But their cheapest clocks on their website are like 13, 14 grand. And this clock that we have, it's a huge stand-up grandfather clock. And it was the manufacturer date on it's from 1974. But yeah, it's a really high-end looking clock. It just we don't know how to work it. And I don't even know if it works, but I could imagine getting that thing fixed would cost a shit ton of money. Because that is a super specialty job, like somebody that works on clocks like that. You don't find people around everywhere that do that kind of work.
No, I've got a wooden clock that hangs in the dining room, keeps time, but something went wrong and it's not doing the chiming now. And I've often said I'd like to get it fixed, but just never do.
Well, and that's why I said clock. The guys that work on clocks, especially the real intricate ones like that. I mean, that's a real specialty type job. I can imagine it's probably not cheap getting a clock like that fixed. But I would really, Sean was actually going to help me research. I need to get him that information about it. Because there's a manufacturer thing in the back of the clock. I got to take a picture and send it to him. And, but we were going to try to research and figure out what model it was. And, because me and Sarah kind of just want to get a, value on it and everything. So we just know the history of it. Because Sarah, like, that's one of Sarah's like most precious, valuable items that she has. And we just kind of wanted to get some background information on it and everything, and whether it's a rare model or if it's even worth getting fixed at some point. But it stands probably about 6.5 feet. It's a big one. It's huge.
Well, I just switched vets, guys.
Did you get a hold of him?
Well, I talked to Shedden, where Vern is. But anyways, I said to him, well, Imperial Animal Hospital, are you guys, still tied together? Should know. Amanda owns that one now. So anyways, but anyway, where Vern is, I really like him. But anyway, so they're going to get the records from Imperial Road for my dogs and stuff. And I'm going to Shedden now.
Oh, good.
So I got an appointment on the 17th at 11:30. So the week tomorrow, but it's not, it's not an emergency, right? So
No, it's just a pain in the butt.
Yeah, yeah.
Tim said try the on off switch. Really? Smart ass.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I was Sean was going to help me because I guess that was one of Sean's hobbies back in the day, Tim. He actually has some of the stuff to work on clocks like that, and he was kind of interested in researching it. So I just got to get him the info. I just keep forgetting to do it.
There's some grandfather clocks right there.
Well, like I said, I just don't remember the manufacturer's name offhand. But like about 2 years ago, I went on their website and was looking at the company out of Detroit's website, and their cheapest one was like 13 or 14 grand. Like they're high end clocks. But I just would like to know some history about it. So you see that one that's right under search? That big tall one?
Which one?
Go back over the $225 one.
Right here,
No,
275?
no. The one down in the other row.
Right here?
Yeah. It looks just like, it kind of looks like that one. It's that type of clock there. Yeah, it kind of looks like that one there. A little different design, but yeah, similar to that. It's really big.
I get a full size grandfather clock here, but it quit working again.
It's
Well,
a
I'm
real-
Well, I'm 6'1" and it's taller than I am.
Yeah.
Like it's about probably, I would say that clock's probably 6.5 feet tall.
Here's a Howard Miller. Does it look like that?
No, not quite as big of a body on the top. But it's definitely, like I said, the manufacturer date's 1974. I actually looked at that not too long ago, and there's a manufacturer date printed on the inside of it. It's stamped on the inside, and it says
There's a
1974.
Seth Thomas. Does it look like that?
Yeah, see, it looks more like that one there. It's got the little thing in the middle at the top and all that. Yeah, it looks more similar to that kind of style. Yeah, it's got two of the things at the top with the little pointy thing in the middle. But yeah, it looks real similar to that one. But like I said, the particular company, when I looked it up on their website, their clocks were expensive. And this is why I want to get some history on it, because it was made in 1974. So there's no telling, it being that old. It wasn't, how rare that particular model was. And I'm assuming it's probably worth more money than the newer ones would be.
Here's one, $1,200.
Like me and Sarah don't want to sell it at all. We just want to get a value on it and get some history on the clock, so we have a little bit of information about it. Because it's a really good conversation piece, I'll tell you that.
This guy's got some clocks here for sale. Huh.
Yeah, see, ours looks like more the one in the rear, the one in the back.
This one here is $950.
But like Sean was telling me too, it could depend on who the clock maker is,
Yep.
the company, the manufacturer date. All that can come into play when it's determining a price or a value on it.
Howard Miller seems to be an expensive clock.
Right, and then it probably depends on how well the clockmaker for that particular model was well known. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, that's a very specialty market for sure. Clockmakers aren't people you run across every day. Those are far and few in between, especially on high end shit like that. Because I mean, I've seen clocks torn apart on YouTube, and oh my god, the amount of springs and shit inside.
Yeah.
You really got to know what you're doing. But at one point, Sean was like into this hobby where he was actually he liked to work on them and stuff, and he had a little hobby going for a couple of years where he was doing that.
Oh, really?
And he was learning how to do it. Yeah. That's why he was so interested in researching the clock for me, because he wanted to do some research on it.
Well, there's sure a bunch of them out there for sale.
Oh, and then they're probably not as sought out as they were 20 years ago, 30, 40 years
Well,
ago.
don't you think that, yeah, the younger people today, grandfather clock, what the hell do I need that for?
Right, that's something more you're going to see more people buying for, expensive homes as a decorative piece.
Right.
Here's my clock right here. It's got the weight and the chains and the ball.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's a nice one.
it's got the
How much-
sundial.
Do you know how much that one's worth? Like the value on it?
Well, that one was originally a kit, so I don't really know. But it was built a lot of years ago. But about 7 years ago, working, so a guy come in. He's a clock guy or jeweler or whatever. He come over here and took all the guts out of it, took it all and had it all fixed and brought it back. But the problem is, it's quit working again. But the clock works, but there's little butterfly things in there. They're not spinning like they used to. But I think it's because this house is a little dusty and dirty. I think it just got dirty in it again. Because you can flick them and it'll start working, then it quits again. So it's just,
Marie S. has a grandfather clock too, she says.
yeah.
Well, and like Tim said, it could just need wounding up. But the one that I have, there's no key slot anywhere to wind it up. And and when you pull on the those things that hang, what are they, the weights or whatever?
Yeah.
They're like stuck and they don't want to move. So I don't want to mess with it because I don't want to break it. I don't know what the proper procedure is on that particular clock on how to start it.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, they're so intricate. I don't want to screw with it.
Yeah, I think the guy the last time he charged me $350 to have it repaired. So,
And yeah, and I just don't want to mess with it because like I said, the clocks are so intricate. You got to be careful screwing around.
oh
with
yeah.
them. And every granddaddy clock, there's a different procedure on how you start it up and set it and everything else.
And there's the weight, the pendulum. You can adjust the pendulum, how much swing it has, and everything
Right.
else. You want to keep the proper time, right? So, I'm looking for this other one here. I took a picture of here, but it hasn't loaded up yet. Just waiting for it to come on. Okay, where's?
Damn, Maria said she paid $3,000 half price.
Yeah,
Woo.
yeah. My sister's got quite a nice one too.
Oh my God, JD, really?
But the thing is with them though, you got to keep them, pulling the weights back up again in order to keep it going. Like it goes about 3 days, 4 days, and you got to, like rewind it type deal.
Right. I'm going to go look and see what the name of mine is. I'd still like to get it fixed, but who knows?
Yeah. Looking for her.
Guess Paul isn't cutting back on the Pepsi. You see that, Hodges?
Oh yeah.
He's
Got lots of
fully
Pepsi
stocked.
there. Yeah.
Well, that's what Sean's gonna do, Tim. He wants to research it and see what model it is and all that, figure all that info out. Because then that will determine I might not even be able to afford to get it fixed, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever made clocks, JD. On a serious note, I don't think they ever made clocks. I'm not entirely
It's finally showed up. Anyway, this is my other clock I have. But it's a cuckoo clock. It works good, this little one. Yep.
Yeah, the cuckoo clock I have works too. The one that Sarah's
Yeah.
grandma left me.
Yeah, it's got the same thing. It's got the weights and chains and all that, right? So,
The ones on hers though, the weights are only decorative. It's just a battery powered one. It's not an old one or nothing.
yeah.
I think she got it back in like the mid '90s or something. It wasn't like, but it's a nice little clock though.
Yeah. But the guy that did fix mine there, he just come in. He wasn't even here 10 minutes. He took it all apart. Like they didn't have to take the clock and like the case apart or anything. He just come in. He knew what to disconnect and all that. And took everything out. And it was gone in about 10 minutes. But it took him 3 weeks before. Well, because he's got to make sure it stays on time and all that, right? So.
Well, yeah, he pulled all the mechanisms out, but then you got to rip all those apart.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've watched the clock guys on YouTube, and they'll rip those real high end ones apart.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Then there's like 100 cog wheels in there, springs everywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jesus.
There's all kinds of gears and things.
Yeah.
Well, hers is an 8-day clock, Marie says. So. I forget what the one is here, but like I said, you got to keep looking at it. And the time you notice it, it's already stopped. You got to reset the time and all the weights. And well, same with the cuckoo clock. It works good, but the only problem with the cuckoo clock is it'll go off 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, where the big clock here only goes off during the daytime or certain hours, right? It doesn't go off in the middle of the night,
Oh, that's why they should have made cuckoo clocks where they only go off during the day.
Yeah, actually,
nighttime.
I got a couple of clocks upstairs in the train room. I don't have batteries in them right now, but they every hour they blow a train whistle, but it's got a sensor on it, so when it's dark, it won't go off. Yeah.
Oh, see, like the one that Sarah's grandma gave me, it has an on and off switch for the sound, so you can turn the sound off.
Yeah.
The bird will still come out and do its thing, but it just won't play no sound.
Oh, okay.
Because like I said, it's a more modern one that's only like 15, 20 years old.
Yeah.
So it all runs off batteries. It's not like a high-end one.
The cuckoo clock I got still got the original, the weights and.
Like the one that I have, it has 2 weights hanging off of it, but they're just for show.
Yeah.
They don't actually do anything. They just hang off of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember, Marie, for sure how many days my clock is. It's been a while. I know there's different ones you can get, how many days and stuff like that when you have to rewind them or reset the weights or whatever. But
Tim said we tried to silence it back in the day, but you couldn't. I could just see Tim sitting there with the hammer waiting for that little fucker to come out the doors. Like, I'll get you.
Yeah, it's called a Verachon. Verachon, Verchon, Verachon.
yeah. Oh, you have to look it up.
But you know what? It's got 3 places to crank it up. The first one does the pendulum, it makes the time. The other 2 are for the one is the chime and one is the quarter hour or whatever.
Yeah.
And that does not work.
Well,
because they're tight. They're wound up maybe past where they should be. I don't know.
wow, but they get dirty too, and
Yeah.
I had a bottle of air and put in there, but I thought to clean it all out, but it doesn't do anything. But they're so sensitive too, right? But
Well, the last time I checked, maybe 10, 15 years ago, maybe even longer, I could take it to the jewelry store and they used to fix clocks and stuff there. But they said, yeah, you can bring it in, but it's going to be expensive.
I think mine was about 300 or 350. You had to take it all apart and clean it, put it back together.
Yeah.
Well, like I said too, those type of people are far and few in between.
Yeah, there's, I know my sister, her clock, she bought it someplace Kitchener Waterloo and it quit working. She had to take it all the way back up there to do it. But see, this guy here in town, he was a jeweler, but he came right here to my house and pulled it apart. I didn't have to do anything. And then he brought it back, put it back together, make sure it worked, and then left. So,
It's probably a lot easier for them than hauling the actual clock back and forth.
well, the whole big case and everything, it was just
Yeah.
easier.
Well, and the thing of it is that is another case of those people are dying out. There's,
Oh, yeah.
you don't hear any clock repair people that are under the age of 50 years old,
No, shit, no, this guy here is probably 70. The good one did mine.
Yeah, and then I'm sure there's a few young people out there, but they're going to be really, really slow.
Yeah.
But like I said, Sean's not that old, and he got into kind of it as a hobby a few years back.
Yeah.
And he was telling me he did that for a couple of years. He was just getting old random clocks and kind of just working on them and playing around with them himself, learning how to do it.
I don't even know where the hell you'd even get clock parts,
Well, you can buy like basic shit. Like I know on Amazon you can buy like, if you like when we used to like, because I built a little miniature like wall hanging clock back when I did wood shop in high school. That was one of our semester projects we had to do. And like you can go on Amazon and buy like little like clock kits if you want to build your own clock.
Yeah.
But yeah, to get like that real extensive parts, yeah, I'm sure there's only a couple companies out there that you can get that stuff from. Oh, I'm sure you probably could, JD. Tim was putting the cuckoo in a sleeper hole.
I was just looking on quick thing on Amazon to see if they had any clock parts, but everything's digital, hardly anything fucking mechanical.
Well, that's what I said. It's probably a couple high-end companies. Probably,
Yeah.
I would say I'd say some of them are probably going to be out of Germany because that's where a lot of
Yeah.
real high-end clocks come out of is Germany.
Yeah. Okay, Paul. Well, I got to take off. I got some time to go do so.
Okay, buddy, I think we're going to call it. We're down to not too many people watching.
So yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go do some signs and stuff. So
Yeah, we're got 11 people watching. Thank everybody for being here. Tim Jackson, get some rest, will you? Maria,
Yeah.
you have a good day. Hanging with JD, thanks for popping in. And thanks again, Justin, for popping in as well.
Yeah.
We'll see everybody again later today.
yep.
Yeah,
See you guys.
see you
See you
later.
around 5 o'clock.
Bye for now.
Yep. Bye. Yeah, I'll see you tonight, Paul.
Okay,
Yep. Bye.
bye-bye.